Hello everyone and welcome to All Things Watched. In this video we are going to talk about an Amazon Prime original movie which was titled Trunk Locked In, and I believe this might have actually been a more of a foreign movie, at least foreign to me. I'm in Canada, but this I believe is actually a German film, and I really fell in love with the idea because I actually did not even. I actually found this movie by reading other people's reviews online. I never seen a trailer. I never read the synopsis. I simply heard other people online talking about how interesting this movie was. Not necessarily that it was the best movie that they've ever seen, but more so the fact that it was just very interesting. And so I decided to take a look and check it out, and honestly, I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, for 90% of the whole movie, you're really just following a character known as Melina, and Melina is portrayed by a woman known as Sina Martens, I believe is how you pronounce her name, and she absolutely kills it. And just like the name yeah, and just like the name says, the whole movie is about her being stranded inside of this trunk, and she's locked in. She's not able to escape. But I really liked the mystery, so to speak, that the movie did a really great job at sort of keeping throughout the whole film, because right from the very time the movie starts, she's already in the trunk. And so we do get a little bit of memory, a little bit of flashback, but very minute, and most of it is actually, she's just looking at, say, a video file, maybe on like a camera or something like that. You know what I mean? Like we learn that she's in love with this man named Eno, I believe is how you pronounce his name, who was portrayed by Artyom Gills. I mean, I think he did a great job with the character with what he was given, but I mean, he was in the movie so little that I just didn't really find that character all that interesting. But I did find the driver interesting, the person who was actually driving the car. Also, I believe the person technically who would be the one responsible for kidnapping Melina, directly. He was portrayed by a character known as Paul Cario, or Cairo, I believe, or Caro. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, so I apologize if I'm butchering that. But his character, I thought, was really interesting, and he's hardly in the movie too, only in a few scenes, but he does such a great job at his performance and really playing this sort of nemesis, villainous type character that he's just like, he was so interesting. I just wanted to know so much about the driver. And so it's really hard for me to talk about the story itself without giving the story away, because if I'm going to be honest with you, in terms of the actual plot or the synopsis, there's not a whole lot to hold on to here. You're not going to watch this movie and think, wow, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen, this is the greatest story ever told. It's not that kind of movie. But you will watch it, I think, and the suspense and the tension that they are able to capture through a few things, actually, between, it was really good writing, I think, at least in terms of this type of movie. There's a lot of movies that are contained in this type of just one single environment. You got movies like Quicksand, movies like Nowhere, those types of settings, which are, the whole thing takes place in a single setting. Well, in this case, it takes place inside of a trunk, and I think that they really utilized the trunk in a really good way, sorry, and the way that they're able to hold the tension with many different ways. Some ways, with the way it's shot, literally. So, like the directing of a scene, the camera angles, the way that they focus or weave in and out. I really liked how there was Melina, the main character who's in the trunk, the story that we're following from her perspective. I really like how there's a lot of scenes where she's talking to someone on the phone, but they really allow those scenes to breathe. It's not like she's on the phone for a few seconds and that's it. She spends a lot of time in this movie on the phone, and so as she sort of is, unraveling the situation and figuring out what's going on, so are we as the audience. We're seeing this from her perspective, and my gosh, like her performance, Sina Martens, I mean, she is just, this is a top tier, actor. I mean, I watched this and I was just blown away. I was just like, wow, this was such a good movie. I really, or such a good performance, sorry. I really enjoyed her performance. And I just don't know if another actor could have kept me so engaged and so interested as what she did. And it was so much of a, it was a movie that really forces Melina to look at her own life and at herself, and because as we watch the story, we learn that there's a lot of stuff about her. Like one this is not really a huge spoiler, but you know, you will learn that she's a doctor. And so I really liked how she starts to question even the medical stuff that she's done. She starts to question some of her decisions, her choices. She starts to think, well, am I even really a good doctor? And that sort of, you know, spirals into, well, am I even really that good of a person? And because she's locked in this trunk, in this very traumatic kidnapping, you know, type of scenario, she's, you know, it goes from questioning, you know, her life to then questioning her morals. And I just thought that Sina Martins just did such a great job with that I really felt like she was really able to hold that tension, that whole questioning of the humanity side, but also she was able to really keep the tension of the whole situation, because she was always panicked to some degree. Even when she was really cool and calm, she still had that frightened look about her. And I just thought that that performance in particular, to me, is an award-winning performance. So it's not that I think the movie is an award-winning movie, but I do think that Sina did an award-winning performance, and her character Melina is so interesting, so cool, and just awesome. And I honestly really enjoyed this movie. If I had to put a number on this movie, Trunk Locked In, for me personally, I think I would give this probably a 65%, which I do think is probably a little bit higher than what most people would give it. And like I said, in terms of the story, I don't think that the story was really all that great, but I do think that the performances were great, and I do think that there was enough there to keep me interested, to want to learn everything that was going on, to want to find out, you know, why she's in this situation. I do think that they could have flushed that out a little bit better, but for what it was, I did really enjoy this movie, and I was thoroughly entertained. So with that being said, folks, that's my review of Trunk Locked In. Let me know in the comment section below if you've seen it, and if you liked it, tell me why or why not. If you like this video, click that subscribe button, and until the next one, take care.